Welcome back to the Malaysia Money Matter Show. It's the 24th of September 25. We've done the heavy lifting on today's stack of sources. Quite a lot happening. We're jumping straight into, well, the key corporate moves, some complex new government policies, and, yeah, those big global trade tensions.
Right. And starting corporate, the big signal, I think, comes from United Plantations. They just clinched Company of the Year at the Edge Billion Ringgit Club Awards.
Okay, significant award. What's the takeaway for listeners?
Well, historically, these winners, they don't just perform okay. They've actually outperformed the FBM KL Composite Index by, get this, 70% on average over the next 3 years.
70%? Wow, that's a huge vote of confidence, isn't it?
It really is. Speaks volumes about operational strength.
And speaking of confidence, the listing appetite seems strong, too. MMC Port Holdings got the green light for a main market listing.
Uh-huh. And they're using existing shares, it looks like, specifically to fund expansion, container, and cargo capacity.
Yeah, plus digitalisation driving that seems to be a theme.
Absolutely. And that market appetite. It feels, well, palpable. Look at JS Solar Holding. Surged 29% right out of the gate on its ACE market debut.
29%. From 31-cent IPO to 40-cent opening. Strong start.
Definitely. They're clearly tapping into that renewed listing interest, focusing on solar in Sabah, over 300 megawatts, and they want to beef up their battery storage capabilities, too.
Okay, so that's growth. Shifting gears a bit, Kuchai Development, they're proposing a pretty hefty special dividend, 44.8 cent, and interestingly, a voluntary delisting from Bursa.
Yeah, that's essentially the company distributing its entire cash pile back to shareholders. Comes after they sold off their main assets last year, so it's sort of a winding down move.
Right, returning value directly.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side, Apollo Food Holdings. They reported quite a drop in Q1 profit, didn't they?
Oof, yeah, down 34%. They're citing lower export sales and higher operating expenses. Management sounds, outwardly confident, talking about a strategic overhaul. Apollo 2.0, they're calling it.
Apollo 2.0. Needs must, I suppose, with numbers like that, but they see it as necessary for the long term.
Exactly. Painful adjustment now for future growth, or so they hope.
Okay, and before we jump to policy, there was that interesting legal case, Prasarana Malaysia's claim against Penang Port. Dismissed.
Right, that RM 30 million counterclaim. The interesting part is why. The judge basically said Prasarana gave up the ferry operations too quickly, less than 3 years.
Ah, so they voided the agreement because it was based on a long-term commitment.
Precisely. Contracts and sticking to them matter. A good lesson there.
Definitely. Okay, moving to policy. The Budi95 fuel subsidy rationalization.
Yeah.
RM 11 billion allocated.
Yep, for the next 12 months. It's complex, though. The subsidized price stays at RM 1.99 per liter for eligible Malaysians up to 300 liters a month.
But there are new tiers now, right?
Correct. RM 2.05 per liter for certain commercial vehicles, and then an estimated market price, maybe RM 2.60 for non-citizens and those who don't qualify.
And the back end, to manage all this.
It's key.
A T&G digital unit is handling it.
That's the plan. It's a massive digital infrastructure challenge, getting those tiers applied correctly.
You bet. And that complexity, well, it feeds into wider financial pressures, like inflation.
Indeed. Insurance and financial services inflation hit 5.6% in August. And the big driver, hospital benefit insurance premiums, they surged 14.7%.
14.7%. Wow, that's jarring. What's the outlook there?
Well, economists are flagging that these costs will likely keep climbing at least until government interventions, like that basic health insurance product they're working on, get accelerated.
Something to watch closely then. Okay. Related to cost and security, digital security, the big telcos are teaming up.
Yeah, Celcondigi, Maxis, U-Mobile, TM, YTL Comms. They're offering a mobile-based ID verification API.
For banks and retailers, aimed at fraud.
Exactly. It's meant to be a much more secure option than, say, those SMS one-time passwords, fighting digital identity theft head-on.
Good to see that collaboration. Okay, let's look globally now. Trade tensions seem intense.
Staggering is maybe the word. The OECD is warning the full impact of U.S. tariffs hasn't even hit yet, even though they've pushed the effective rate on imports up to 19.5%.
And at the same time, China's exports.
Flooding the world with cheap goods, they're projected to hit a record U.S. $1.2 trillion trade surplus. That's causing, understandably, quite a bit of alarm amongst trading partners.
And you see that uncertainty reflected in markets, right? Gold prices hitting another record high.
Absolutely. U.S. $3,784 per ounce. That surge is definitely bolstered by rising expectations of more U.S. Fed rate cuts. Some Fed governors are sounding warnings about a weakening labor market.
Classic flight to safety, then.
Pretty much. And finally, on the geopolitical front, a bit of regional cooperation. Asians signed that framework agreement on competition.
Signaling commitment to fair markets. Seems timely, given everything else.
Very timely. A move towards transparency amid all the global trade upheaval.
Okay, lots covered there. So what's the final thought for our listeners to chew on today?
Well, given that massive flood of cheap exports coming out of China globally, and with everyone already dealing with U.S. trade uncertainty, how long can other countries, other trading partners, really resist putting up their own retaliatory measures?
Hmm. A really critical question for global trade right now. It shapes what happens next, doesn't it?
It really does.
All right, that's it for today's deep dive. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please make sure you subscribe to the Malaysia Money Matters podcast for more essential news briefings like this one. Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you would like a deeper dive into all the investment opportunities from today's news, subscribe to my newsletter at moneymatters.substack.com. I will be sharing a deeper analysis of the key investment opportunities from today's news, including what makes these opportunities stand out and how they fit into the broader market trends. By subscribing to the Malaysia Money Matters newsletter, you will also get exclusive insights on my watch list and portfolio and fundamental reports on Malaysian listed companies.